Hearing, hearing, hearing. Blount County Legislature body is now in session with the Honorable Gary Anderson Chairman presiding. All persons having business with this honorable commission draw near, give attention, and ye shall be heard. God save the United States of America, the state of Tennessee, and this honorable commission. At this time, DCSO Chaplain Greg Long will lead us in prayer.
Father, we come this evening to just thank you. We're on the verge of celebrating 250 years of a great nation, one that you provided for us, that you asked us to be stewards of. And Father, our wonderful state of Tennessee, and especially our beautiful Blount County, is part of that. Help us to be the stewards that you want us to be. I ask that you be with our commissioners and be with our clerk, with our chair. God, just with each one tonight, but let us speak in a way, act in a way that honors you. A lot of times we get caught up in our own devices, our own interest. It's not about us. It's about you. It's about your son, Jesus, one who died and rose so that our sin could be forgiven. Father, you be honored tonight as we walk with you always. It's in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
At this time, DCSO deputies will lead us in the pledge of allegiance to the American flag. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you all and welcome to the Board of County Commissioners meeting for Thursday, June 18th, 2026. Thank you, Chaplain. Thank you, deputies, for leading us in the pledge and in prayer. At this time, we will pause for the emergency evacuation procedures announcement.
Before we get started, let me read the emergency evacuation procedures. In the event of an emergency evacuation or lawful sound, everyone should exit the building by way of the nearest stairwell in a safe and effective manner. If the nearest stairwell is blocked by smoke, use the other stairwell. Do not use the elevator. Once you reach the main floor, follow the exit signs to exit the building and quickly proceed away from the building. Please be mindful of others evacuating and emergency vehicles.
Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Mr. Chairman, you have 18 members present and 3 absent.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I will declare that a quorum is in attendance. Commissioners Martin and Joplin let us know that they had a conflict tonight and would not be joining us. Commissioner Hanna has been delayed and should be en route. At this time, the chair will stand for a motion to set the agenda as published. I have a motion from Commissioner Bright, second from Commissioner Giles. If there are no objections, there are 3 resolutions that have been requested to be added tonight. That is 260621, 260623, and 260624. Does anyone have any objection to that, adding those items, or any questions about those items? Does any commissioner need additional time? All right. Seeing no objections, those 3 items will be added to the agenda as items G12, G13, and G14. Any further discussion on the setting of the agenda? Okay, commissioners, if you're in favor of setting the agenda with those changes, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Commissioner Webb, would you like to vote? Mr. Chairman, you have 18 yes votes.
18 yes votes, the motion carries, and the agenda is set. Moving on to item B, general consent calendar. Chair will stand for a motion to adopt the general consent calendar. I have a motion from Commissioner French, second from Commissioner Giles. Any discussion on the general consent calendar? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting the general consent calendar, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, you have 18 yes votes.
18 yes, the motion carries, and the general consent calendar is adopted. Moving on to item C, public input on items on the agenda. I have one green card first, and then I will ask for hands from the audience. Speakers, when you come up, please remember you have 3 minutes to address the commission as a whole or the chair and not individual commissioners. Please tell us your name, the district in which you live, and the item that you're speaking to us about. And at this time, I'll call up Becky Hedrick. And speakers, your time will be displayed up here on the monitor.
Hi, my name is Becky Hedrick. I'm with District 8, the City of Townsend. Growing up in Townsend and now having the opportunity to serve as a Townsend City Commissioner, I'd like to thank Blount County for its willingness to consider replacing the Dark Island Swinging Bridge. The bridge holds a great deal of history and remains an important part of our community. I recognize that the proposed construction contract represents a significant investment, and I sincerely appreciate your consideration and commitment to preserving this valued community landmark. Thank you again for your support and thoughtful consideration.
Thank you, Commissioner Hedrick. Anyone else wish to speak?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jasmine Satterfield. I am from District 7, and today I want to talk to you about new business item G9, the stormwater resolution. So, in consideration of this, when looking at the water quality buffer resolution, all of this was prompted by a letter from TDEC saying that our plan was not up to date. But when putting together a resolution or the answer to that, I don't think that the answer for us is to go straight to, well, we're just going to do what Maryville and Alcoa's manual says. And essentially, when you read these resolutions, when it gets into details, it just goes directly back to, oh, look at the Maryville-Alcoa resolution. When you talk to people within the county, they do not want the restrictive rules that go along with living in the cities. And so Tennessee state law actually defaults toward protecting personal property rights. It does not lend more toward enforcing heavy rules and restrictions such as what we find in the manual for Maryville and the cities of Maryville and Alcoa. Under the TCA codes, the state does grant cities and counties baseline power to manage stormwater, but it does not mandate the many rules, aggressive rules that are found in the manual. Some of these, I'm going to give you some examples, really infringe upon the rights of small business owners. In my district, there are a lot of small business owners, such as people who own dump truck companies, people who own lawn mowing businesses, excavating companies. These companies generally have an impound, like some sort of yard that they park their trucks in. It's usually concrete in my district, or not concrete, gravel in my district. And at the end of the day, they spray off their equipment. That's just water washing off grass residue and things like that. But in this manual, it actually says that that's stormwater, that it could pick up a little bit of oil or a little bit of lubricant from the lawnmower that they're spraying off, and now that is against the rules if we enact this. There are other things that go into this. So when we're planning with this, it actually, I'm running out of time. So please, I urge you all, do not make a hasty decision. We need to make an ad hoc committee where we look at the manual, we pick it apart, and we find out what's best for Blount County, and not just do a sweeping swatch where we pick up the manual for Alcoa and the cities. This is the county, and I urge you all to please follow state laws that are where they protect personal property rights. That is the most important thing that we can do as commissioners. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name's Tony Lester. I'm in District 8, and I'm here with a handful of folks from the Dark Island community. As you may know, Dark Island is a small community directly across the river from Townsend, and we're here to try and encourage and support you in the Dark Island Swinging Bridge project. It's important to us. We have 117 properties in our community, 52 owners, aggregate value of several $1 million. And we use that bridge for pedestrian access to Townsend to go spend our money and enjoy the city. But we also use it as an emergency exit. As you may know, Carnes Road, the one-lane road that leads to Dark Island, floods in almost every high water incident, and it can actually isolate people in our community. And the only way we have to get out in that event is across that bridge. So it's pretty important to us. So we just want to encourage you to seriously consider the funding. We know that's not a trivial amount of money and a project, and we appreciate the county's willingness to take responsibility for it, and we're here to help in any way we can. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Lester. Mr. Roten?
Good evening. My name is Steve Roten. I'm in District 4, and I'm speaking on resolution, I think it's G10 or 26-6-014. I better move on. So I think paying commissioners a reasonable pay commensurate with the duties and what Blount County can afford is honorable. And 20 years of the same pay for this entire period is simply not right. However, the sudden urgency to increase the commissioner's salary demonstrates a lack of preparedness of this body to align this resolution with the new fiscal budget process. Shouldn't the citizens of Blount County expect more? Yes. 69%, if my calculations are right here, 69% of the yearly pay increase will be coming out of Blount County's, this is my term, may not be yours, emergency fund. Is this an emergency? If I was in your shoes and trying to make ends meet, maybe I would say yes. But from where I'm standing currently, is this an emergency? No. Is it a problem that needs a reasonable remedy? Absolutely. If I was in your shoes, I would not be happy with where things are. My last statement is this. In my limited time returning to Blount County, grew up here, have moved back since I've retired, and all these gray hairs, and just experiencing what all kinds of work goes in this through this body, I have a great respect for what goes on here. A lot of hard work. I can't imagine the endless hours. So I don't know what charting a middle course is, if there is such a one, but I hope y'all can find one. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roten. Anyone else wish to speak to items? Yes, sir.
Thank you. Brian Thompson from District 3. I wish to speak on 2 points of the agenda tonight. The first being the proposed pay increase, and the second being the AI regulations that are to be voted on. I believe that when someone is given a task or responsibility, they must be supported and given the tools to complete it. Anything else is unfair. My mother was a school teacher. I was a school teacher. I know firsthand teachers spend their own money on their supplies, and I don't think that's right. I don't think you should be spending your pay to do the job you've been hired to do. If I was hired to move rocks and I spent all the money to do it, to what end? Members of the committee commented at the last meeting, at the workshop meeting, on 2 regular expenses that ate up the pay. which should be increased, I agree. Fuel for travel around the county, given fuel costs, that is completely understandable. And printing the many documents you have to read and fill out. May I suggest that the county cover these costs? You bring the receipts, we will reimburse you, so that you are not spending your pay to do the very thing we have paid you to do. Also, it was suggested at the workshop meeting that this potential pay increase be tied to performance, perhaps meeting attendance. I support that entirely. If the work is worth paying for, then the pay is worth working for. And so, putting it together, I ask that you amend the resolution to perhaps a smaller pay increase and then tie that pay increase to attendance, to performance to the meetings. And then we will cover the cost of doing the job which we have hired you to do because we want to support you in the doing it. Thank you. Cool, I have time. Secondly, on the AI regulations, I applaud you at the speed and the thoroughness of the regulations. They are sound and timely. I have with me a petition currently standing at 165 signatures of Blount County residents asking for a 12-month moratorium on AI development. Other counties, Anderson County and Cumberland County Commissions have both passed 2-year moratoriums on AI development in the past month. The resolution is good, but it is only a statement of intent from the Commission to the Planning Committee. I would ask that a serious moratorium be passed as well, belt and suspenders, when it comes to protecting us from a project of this scale. And I yield the remainder. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Anyone else wish to speak to us on items on the agenda? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Jessica Self. I'm in District 6. I wanted to speak about 2 things, and I'll be quick. The first one is the stormwater quality management. I just want to make sure that everyone is aware that those of us in Blount County that are very thankful for what we have and the green grass that we have and the trees and the gardens and the farms want to remind you all not to take what God is giving to all of us. So keep that in mind when you vote. The other thing is the data center. So I stand before you right now as a woman, but I grew up, the reason why I said Wooder is because I grew up in inner city Trenton, New Jersey. And when I was 8 years old, I had to be bused to the neighboring state before I saw stars. I had never seen stars until I was 8 years old. There are a lot of people here that are in the place to make decisions, and you all have had the benefit of living here all of your lives and seeing that all of your lives. Please do not turn this into Trenton, into Newark, into Cincinnati. I guarantee you for vacation, none of you are going there. None of you. It's horrible. Don't take what God has given us and completely destroy it for $1. Whether you're benefiting for that $1 or someone you know is benefiting or what have you, do not take what we have been blessed with and completely trash it. If you want to see what it looks like, go to Trenton, go to Cincinnati, go to Chicago, go to Philadelphia. Stay there for a week. You will be so thankful when your plan lands in Alcoa. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Self. Anyone else wish to speak to us on items on the agenda? Okay, I see no further hands, so we will move on to item D, budget consent calendar. Chair will stand for a motion to adopt the budget consent calendar. I have a motion to adopt the budget consent calendar from Commissioner Carver, second from Commissioner Wells. Any discussion on the budget consent calendar? Commissioner Akers, you're recognized.
I would move that we separate these items out and discuss them individually since they're dealing with so much money.
All right, Commissioner Akers requested to pull all the items on the budget consent calendar, so we will vote on those individually at this time.
What do we do with the motion?
I'm sorry?
What do we do with the current motion? Just cancel it.
We'll just have to, pull the motion and do each resolution individually.
Sir.
All right, Mr. Clerk, please, when you're ready, read the caption for the first item.
Resolution number 266010, budget increase, highway capital, $249,740. Appropriate highway capital funds to repair the swinging bridge for Dark Island located in Townsend. Referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee, 5-0.
I have a motion from Commissioner Giles with a second from Commissioner Hanna to adopt resolution number 26606010. Commissioner Akers, you're recognized on the adoption of the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As the party that brought the swinging bridge to the commission's attention over a year ago, I'm excited to see us contemplating taking action for repairing it. I have to question $250,000 for that swinging bridge. Seems to be an astronomical number, but I am very much in favor of making the repairs. I just wanted to issue the concern of the $250,000 is a lot of swinging bridge, like a whole lot of swinging bridge.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Anyone else wish to speak to the resolution? All right, Mr. Giles, you're recognized for the first time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My understanding on this particular resolution, this did go through the budget and bidding process, and this was by far the low bid on this particular amount of work that needed to be done. And I also understand that at some point we will be presented with an agreement, as you can see in the resolution, that talks about a 99-year lease for the county so that everyone will have, all of the general public will have access to this bridge. So while I agree with the Commissioner that it is very high at $249,740, it's much less than some of the other bids that have been presented for this same project. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any further discussion on the item? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 26606010, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, you have 19 yes votes.
19 yes, the motion carries, and resolution number 26606010 is adopted.
Resolution number 266015, budget increase, education capital, $145,000. Reclassify the design fee for the Heritage Middle School roof from general purpose school funds to school capital funds. Referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee, 5-0.
Have a motion to adopt resolution number 26606015 from Commissioner Akers, second from Commissioner McMahan. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 26606015, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, you have 19 yes votes.
19 yes, the motion carries, and resolution number 26606015 is adopted.
Resolution number 266016, budget increase, public defender, $85,024. Appropriate state opioid funds for the hire of a new position to provide opioid treatment and case management on behalf of the Public Defender's Office. Referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee, 5-0.
Have a motion to adopt resolution number 26606016 from Commissioner Akers, second from Commissioner Giles. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 26606016, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, there are 19 yes votes.
19 yes, the motion carries, and resolution number 26606016 has been adopted.
Resolution number 266017, budget increase, education capital, $68,635. Appropriate education capital funds to construct a secure entrance at Friendsville Elementary School. Referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee, 5-0.
Have a motion to adopt resolution number 2606017 from Commissioner Giles, second from Commissioner Carver. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 2606017, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, you have 19 yes votes.
19 yes, the motion carries, and resolution number 2606017 has been adopted.
Resolution number 2666018, budget increase, education capital, $49,400. Appropriate education capital funds to improve and refinish flooring in the old locker bays at William Blount High School and Heritage High School. Referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee, 5-0.
Have a motion to adopt resolution number 2606018 from Commissioner McMahon, second from Commissioner Wells. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 2606018, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, there are 19 yes votes.
19 yes, the motion carries, and resolution number 2606018 has been adopted.
Resolution number 2606019, budget increase, education capital, $32,680. Appropriate education capital funds to install a guard shack and necessary utilities at ECCA. Referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee, 5-0.
I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2606019 from Commissioner Carver, second from Commissioner Hanna. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 2606019, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, there are 19 yes votes.
19 yes, the motion carries, and resolution number 2606019 has been adopted.
Resolution 2606020, budget increase, central services, $215,462.62. Appropriate general county funds for the interlocal agreement to keep Great Smoky Mountains National Park open during the government shutdown. Referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee, 5-0.
I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2606020 from Commissioner Akerd, second from Commissioner Giles. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 2606020, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, there are 19 yes votes.
19 yes, the motion carries, and resolution number 2606020 has been adopted. Item E, elections, appointments, and confirmations. Mr. Clerk, please read the item.
Item 1, Parks and Recreation Board, 4-year term. Mayoral recommendation to appoint Mark D. Anderson.
I have a motion to confirm the Parks and Rec Board appointment from Commissioner Carver, second from Commissioner French. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of the appointment, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, there are 19 yes votes.
19 yes, the motion carries, and the Parks and Rec Board appointment has been made and confirmed. Item F, unfinished business, there is none. Item G, new business. Mr. Clerk, please read the items.
Resolution 266-001, fiscal year 2627, tax rate resolution, referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee, 5-0.
I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2606001 from Commissioner Carver, second from Commissioner Giles. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 2606001, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Commissioner Giles. Mr. Chairman, there are 19 yes votes.
19 yes votes, the motion carries, and resolution number 2606001 has been adopted.
Resolution number 2606002, fiscal year 2627, appropriation resolution, referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee, 5-0.
I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2606002 from Commissioner Akerd, second from Commissioner Hanna. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 2606002, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, there are 19 yes votes.
19 yes, the motion carries, and resolution number 2606002 is adopted.
Resolution number 2606003, fiscal year 2627 capital outlay resolution, referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee, 5-0.
I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2606003 from Commissioner Carver, second from Commissioner French. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 2606003, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, you have 19 yes votes.
19 yes, the motion carries, and resolution number 2606003 is adopted.
Resolution number 26005, interfund loan, debt service, $4 million. Enter into an interfund loan from debt service fund to ARPA fund to allow time for reimbursement from the state of Tennessee. Referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee, 5-0.
Got a motion to adopt resolution number 2606005 from Commissioner Carver, second from Commissioner Giles. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 2606005, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, you have 19 yes votes.
19 yes, the motion carries, and resolution number 2606005 is adopted.
Resolution number 26006, budget increase, various departments, $1,657,653.98. Appropriate general, county, school, and capital funds to correct budget lines in the 25-26 budget year. Referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee, 5-0.
I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2606007 from Commissioner McMahon, second from Commissioner Hanna. Any discussion? Commissioner Akerd, you're first on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I had a question why resolution 26024 couldn't be put in with 26006 since it's various departments and it's funds that are to correct lines in our budget.
Would you like for me to direct that to Mr. Baldwin?
Sure.
Mr. Baldwin, can you answer that for us?
I'll do my best. Commissioner, the resolution ending in 024 was a last-minute addition, and I apologize for that. The auditors were in my office today at 3 o'clock asking if we could do a last-minute cleanup. Resolution 024 is really a balance sheet adjustment. It's not really appropriating money. It's requesting you all to allow us to cover that cash deficit on the balance sheet side. So they're very different in nature, and unfortunately, this one came in quite late.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Mr. Baldwin. Any further discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 2606006, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Should I wait on Commissioner Wells? Or just go ahead? He stepped out. I got it. Mr. Chairman, you now have 19 yes votes.
19 yes, motion carries, and resolution number 2606006 is adopted.
Resolution number 26007, budget increase, general purpose school fund, $1,343,290.21. Appropriate funds for the Tennessee State Grant Summer School Program. No matching funds are required. Referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee, 5-0.
Have a motion to adopt resolution number 2606-007 from Commissioner Akers, second from Commissioner Hannah. Commissioner Reagan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to remind you all that I have to abstain from this vote because I have had the pleasure of working summer school again.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. We'll note Commissioner Reagan abstaining for cause. Any further discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 2606-007, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, you have 18 yes votes and 1 abstention.
18 yes, 1 abstain. The motion carries, and resolution number 2606-007 is adopted.
Resolution number 266008, budget increase, highway capital, $648,846.78. Appropriate highway capital funds to upgrade 4 county signalized intersections. Referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee, 5-0.
Have a motion to adopt resolution number 2606-008 from Commissioner Bright, second from Commissioner Giles. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 2606-008, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, you have 19 yes votes.
19 yes, the motion carries, and resolution number 2606-008 is adopted.
Resolution number 266009, budget increase, education capital, $265,500. Appropriate education capital funds to replace fire alarm system at Mary Blount Elementary School. Referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee, 5-0.
I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2606-009 from Commissioner McMahon, second from Commissioner Hannah. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 2606-009, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, there are 19 yes votes.
19 yes, motion carries, and resolution number 2606-009 is adopted.
Resolution number 266013, a resolution establishing stormwater quality management criteria in the urbanized area of Blount County.
I have a motion, Chair will stand for a motion to adopt resolution number 266013. Motion from Commissioner Kaler, second from Commissioner Wells. Any discussion? Commissioner Akers, you're recognized for the first time on the motion.
Thank you. Having been significantly involved in the reason why we failed the previous 2 atrocities that were sent in front of us, and hearing from the public telling us that rural Blount County shouldn't be administered to the same way as the cities of Maryville and Alcoa, I would strongly urge this body to stick with the state guidelines here. The issues that we declined to promote previously were because our highway department spent $90,000 and had somebody hand us a bunch of gobbledygook that we don't have to do in Blount County. That's the reason, if you'll recall, that we don't have anything up to date currently, because we're already far ahead of what the state of Tennessee requires. If the state of Tennessee wants to require more, they can pass it. There's no reason to vote yes to arbitrarily dictate on our citizens what they can and can't do on private property above and beyond the state guidelines. We have state guidelines. There is no reason for Blount County to step out there and arbitrarily create additional strict guidelines that are more strict than the state of Tennessee requires everywhere else in the state, no matter who tells us. There's no reason. I urge you to say no to this, just like you did the 2 times previously when it was brought, because, well, it's government overreach. And why? Who is it helping? Which of your citizens in your region, in your district, which of those citizens is this helping, and how do you justify taking a position that's greater than what the state of Tennessee has throughout the state? Again, I urge you all to vote no for this, because we have no business getting involved in this kind of thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Wells, you're recognized for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be quick. The information that was provided to us, the state, as we're saying about their guidelines, the state reviewed our MS4 plan. We have MS4 stormwaters, therefore we have to have a permit for the MS4s. So that permit is now expired. The TDEC has written a letter. The Tennessee State Department of Environmental Conservation has sent the mayor a letter, which we all received, stating that violation of that expiration and the inadequacies of our current existing stormwater plan. It's not as if we don't have one and this is something that's being laid on top of us. We have an existing one that has been amended, and this particular amendment here, as Mr. Garrett has said in his letter to us as our attorney, is, and this is what we asked him to do, is to make only minimal amendments that would comply with the state requirements as was being asked. So as they have stated here our attorneys have been at work at this for almost a year to come in around with us, so it's not something we've done quickly. It's not something that we've hastily put forward. We're looking at complying with what the state has asked us to do. They have evaluated our plan and said it is not sufficient, and we need you to make these amendments to be in compliance with the state regulations. Therefore, I mean, it's pretty plain language as you read it, that's the case. And as Craig has said in the letter we received, that Stormwater Director has sought to make minimal amendments to our current resolutions that will satisfy the requirements from TDEC. So this compliance piece is just something that we must do to satisfy the state requirements, as was stated previously. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Michaels, you're recognized for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I as well have been kind of against this from day one, and highly anticipated Commissioner Wells. A lot of those remarks that he made, they've been made every time these have come about. The county attorney said, TDEC said, the best I can
make sense of this, heads or tails. I don't know why you'd need all this to, can somebody specifically tell me what these listed amendments change to the current MS4 permit? Can anybody on this horseshoe tell me that in layman terms? Layman terms. You can push your button and I'll just think, well, they've got the answer. And that'd be enough for me. That's what I thought. So my point is, if you read these Exhibit A and Exhibit B, and mind you, the letter from TDEC came from our Development Services Office. The letter that was sent from TDEC came from our in-house TDEC representative. She works in our county. And I've dealt with her, and I've dealt with our development services. And I'm going to leave that one right there. But these, if you read these, and I didn't have to be a lawyer or have a law degree to be on commission. You just have to be a prudent individual. And you have to have a little bit of knowledge about vocabulary. But Tennessee Code Annotated 51118C, that word right there, that word authorizes. It authorizes counties, not Blount County, counties all across the state of Tennessee, if they choose, which that part's not in here, if they choose, could be inserted by after a comma, right after authorizes counties, comma, if they choose, comma, by adoption of resolution by 2/3 vote, and they tell you how that's adopted. My point is to exercise those powers granted to all or certain municipalities by Tennessee Code Annotated, and there's another Tennessee Code Annotated. In Exhibit A, which addresses the stormwater and illicit discharge of pollutants, it goes on to say Blount County became authorized to regulate all acts, trades, uses of property, and all other things whatsoever detrimental or liable to detrimental to unincorporated areas of the county, and to exercise general police powers. You can take every bit of this and throw it out the window. And they told us the first time they tried to bring this to us, when we'd already paid $90,000, and that woman come up here and she said, oh, this is what we need to do, this is what you have to do. We keep figuring out that's not the case. That's not the case. Every time we deal with it, we figure out, well, we don't really have to do that. We don't have to do that. We could take every bit of this and not talk about it ever again, and we would fall right back under state law and what the state requires us to do for stormwater runoff from illicit discharge and these other things. This the urbanizing, the prohibiting and suppressing preventing contamination of stormwater by grading erosion. That's the development and redevelopment part. Do you think the state is going to let somebody go in and put a subdivision in and not do adequate erosion control? No, they're not. There's things in place. All we have to do is get that list from the state. All this is about wanting to be an enforcer. And I think part of Commissioner Akers' argument in the past on this is we don't need to hire more people to go out and do more jobs. We don't, because that's going to run the taxpayers' dollars on up out of sight when we have to hire more people. we're wanting to slow this overdevelopment down. I know some of you don't, but that's what we're working towards here. So I'm not sure why we need to put things in place and more things in place to address these things that come along with redevelopment and more development. And I definitely don't like passing anything that has the words police powers in it to development services. Because I'm already dealing with a couple things in my district where we're starting to put our thumb on stuff that we don't need to be putting it on. We don't need to be running nobody out of business because we can. Over here, in section 15, it says corrective actions, and it talks about the stormwater program director and what he can do. So if he comes out and they deem that you've made a mess or something's not right, or they can slap you with a fine, tell you to fix it. It can be fairly costly. It could have been an act of God, too, okay? And if you don't fix it to their liking, they can come in there and fix it for you, or have somebody come in there and fix it for you. And then they can charge you, it says in here, double. And if you don't pay, they can take you to court. If you don't pay that fine and you don't do what they said through the court, they'll file a lien and enforce the lien by judicial foreclosure proceedings. I ain't for putting that on paper for any government. I think everybody in here worked hard enough for where they live and they pay taxes. And the government's got too much say on what they can and can't do on their property now. We've had the conversation too about, instead of things saying what we are allowed to do or what we can't do, it needs to just be left up to, well, hey, we probably shouldn't do that because of this or that. There's a lot of things that we need to be addressing. This right here is not one of them. We got too many things coming up to be doing this. Everybody in this room cares about Blount County. We care about our rivers and our streams. I think that the state has guidelines enough that if somebody's washing their dump truck and they're washing oil out of it and they're 10 feet from a creek, that's probably not a good idea, and we can take care of it. The last thing we need to do is be implementing more reasons we can slap a bill on somebody or take somebody's property. That's not our job. And it just blows my mind. We were told initially that if we didn't do this that month, we were going to be fined $10,000 a month. And I think everybody in here has already heard 3 times now. That was over a year ago. So, Mr. Chairman, the last thing I'd like to ask is will you ask the mayor if we've gotten a bill?
Mr. Mayor, you're recognized.
No, we have not got a bill. Have not heard anything from TDEC on this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Davis, you're recognized for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Chair. On this section 12, it says non-compliance. Whenever the county stormwater director or his designee determines, who would be the stormwater director?
I don't have it open in front of me, Commissioner. Do you want me to direct to Mr. Chapman here? Okay, I believe that would be Mr. Chapman.
He's not here.
Is anyone from the stormwater here for the county? We don't, Commissioner.
All right. Well, I do not support this. This has been complete chaos for the last year. And if we don't have any more details than what we have, it needs to be in writing, include a description, list the violations, state the action required, and provide a deadline for compliance or to stop work. We probably need more information and details before we just start adopting whatever is put in front of us. So I'm a no on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any further discussion? Commissioner Kaler, you're recognized for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Don't jump on me, anybody. What I'm about to say has nothing to do with wanting to put more things on people of this county that they have to do. Doesn't have anything to do with it. I only want to, with your permission, I'd like to read an excerpt from our attorney's letter that he supplied with us along with this resolution.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
And this is from Craig Garrett. It is our understanding that the Stormwater Director has sought to make minimal amendments to our current resolutions that will satisfy the requirements from TDEC. These amendments primarily relate to a reference to a different stormwater manual and changes to water buffer requirements. Additionally, we are aware that the Commission has in the past taken the position that these regulations should be the least, I quote, least restrictive measures that will be compliant with state regulations. And we think that these provided documents accomplish this goal. It is anticipated that the next iteration from the NPDES general permit will be released sometime at the end of this year or the beginning of next year. I won't be here next year. When this happens, we will have to comply with the requirements of the new NPDES permit. At present, we have no information about what changes may be required by the new permit. When the requirements of the new permit are provided, this will require a comprehensive review of the Blount County's MS4 program in an effort to ensure that we have implemented, quote, the least restrictive program permitted by law. With these considerations in mind, it would be in the best interest of the County Commission to approve the amendments of these resolutions to come into compliance with TDEC's requirements. I don't give two hoots what the City of Alcoa and the City of Maryville are doing. It doesn't have anything to do with what we do here. They can do what they want to. The fact that what we're doing might mirror what they're doing, so be it. But that letter is pretty clear to me that we know what we're dealing with now. And I'll quote it again, the least restrictive permitted by law. We don't know what we're going to be dealing with when the new document comes out. So I just want people to stop and think about the fact I'm not trying to ram anything down anybody's throat. If I want to go wash something in my driveway, I'll wash it. And anybody in here that wants to wash something in their driveway or mow their lawn or water their lawn or wash their camper or anything else they want to do, they're going to do it. I'm not trying to stop that. All I'm saying is the document says that we are adopting the least. What more could we want? How could we ask for anything more than to adopt the least thing that is available to us? Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner French, recognized for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The only question I have is if we don't adopt, and Commissioner Michaels touched on it briefly, if we don't adopt, what are the consequences for Blount County? What can anyone answer that? Are we going to be fined? Is the state going to come down and impose any kind of sanctions on us or whatever? I'm just curious, is if we don't comply, what are the ramifications for Blount County? If anyone can answer that.
Does anyone from staff wish to speak to that? Don't see anyone, Commissioner. Do you yield the floor, Commissioner?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Michaels, you're recognized for the second time on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I don't, to the best of my knowledge, Commissioner French, what I understand of this and what little straight answer I can get, when you all adopted this permit years ago, okay, the TCA said the same thing. It authorized the county to implement more severe, don't use the word severe, but more stringent, I guess would be the word I would want to use, rules and regulations than what state said. Does that make sense? And the reason we're not being fined is because this is clearly, by the verbiage, it's clearly optional. You can be more stringent than Tennessee Code Annotated says for all these permits, but state law and TDEC, this is the baseline. If you adopt permits, then you are implementing. Obviously, Maryville and Alcoa have done some work, and they've made their regulations a little stiffer. And so, instead of doing the legwork, we're just going to use what they've got. And that's my. I don't know how a better way to put this to you is. The reason we're not being penalized is because it's just falling back. Why are we having to amend anything? We could literally take the original resolution for an MS4 permit, which is more stringent than TCA and TDEC says, that you adopted initially, and not change a thing, and we'd still have an MS4 permit. Not change a thing. But we're making amendments to something that we don't need in the first place. And I'm not real sure why that's so hard to understand. And I don't know, maybe I'm just not explaining it well enough for you, but I don't think anybody up here knows enough about it to be passing something that's going to affect the citizens. It's just not, I know that some of you called and asked questions, and it's not something that you have to do. It's not. And I don't, the county attorney said it's minimal. We don't even have to have that. It is what it is. There's state law, and they can enforce state law. We're not doing anything wrong. They can enforce state law. Anything more than that, like Maryville and Alcoa are doing, we don't need it. We don't need it. And if they want to keep going, maybe form an ad hoc committee and take Maryville and Alcoa's regulations as a baseline and pick it apart for what we think would be logical for a county or the urbanized area. But this is not the answer. It's not the answer.
Are the commissioners ready for the question? Commissioner Caldwell, for the first time on the motion.
Would it be an option to table this until the new directives have been released by TDEC?
Procedurally, we can't postpone anything past the next meeting, and the term's going to flip over in September. My understanding is the new permits and the new permit requirements are not going to come out until
Next year.
Beyond that. So I think procedurally, it's got to be voted on tonight, or it's got to be postponed to next month, or it's got to be postponed indefinitely, which is a procedural motion, which is functionally the same as a no.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Carver, for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Would it be possible, if we did postpone it to next month, to have Mr. Jeff Chapman here to explain? Because I think that would help us out quite a bit.
If that's the commission's desire, I would make that request on behalf of the commission.
I'd like to make that motion, please.
Commissioner Carver moves to postpone this to the July meeting. Second from Commissioner Caldwell. We're now discussing the motion to
I
postpone.
also request that Jeff Chapman be here to explain that.
Okay, with that objection, we'll make that, I guess, part of the motion to postpone.
Thank you.
All right, we are on motion to postpone. I'm going to recognize speakers on the motion to postpone. Commissioner Akert, are you on the motion to postpone? Commissioner Akert on the motion to postpone for the first time. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We can look at this next month, the next month, or the next month, and it really just comes down to common sense of whether or not we, 21 people, want to make rules like no single species of plant may comprise more than 1/3 of the total planted trees or shrubs on your property if you're in this zone. That's in this. If you all read it, you would understand why we're complaining about it. Reading it's pretty important, but this is full of manure. And we can vote to move it, or we can kill it now and let them bring it back, because they're going to bring it back because, well, that's what happens. That's why we've heard from it more than once over a year ago, and now they're trying to get it in again. Who wants to go explaining to somebody that lives on the river that they can't plant an apple orchard because it's going to be more than the requirement that this body, you, elected, that the state didn't mandate? Do you all understand? When the state doesn't mandate it and we adopt it, it's on us. How you going to go explain that to somebody? Oh man, you can't have those apple trees down there near the river. No, we can't do that. What we really need to be doing is saying that we'll adhere to the state guidelines. We will adhere to them in Blount County. We'll adhere to the state guidelines and be done with it, is what we need to be doing, rather than passing this malarkey down the road to get another opinion of why we need to support whoever it is that wants this to happen so badly. There are some friendships that exist in Blount County that it is amazing how they appear in such great force in documents like this that just totally they totally violate what we should be doing for the people that have elected for us to be here. There aren't very many people out there that are going to be wanting to get approval for the top shrubs that they plant on their own property. In fact, I dare say none of them are going to. So why do we want to make a law? Why? And that is in this. The one that got it last time, that rang everybody's bell enough to where we killed it, was washing the car. you weren't allowed to wash your car on your own property. You had to go somewhere else to wash your car. And evidently that enough people heard from enough people to make that kill this the last time, if you'll recall. But if you took the time to read through this entire thing, which it is a lot of time because there's a bunch of pages, and you probably didn't. But if you did, you see things like these plants and the inability for a homeowner in rural Blount County to do whatever in the heck he wants to do, planting plants. Come on, y'all. So if y'all want to postpone it, postpone it. But the right thing to do is to kill it dead and watch the non-fee happen for the next year, just like the non-fee happened for the last year, even though we were threatened with it before, just like we're threatened with it again.
Please come to order. Commissioner French, you're recognized for the first time on the motion to postpone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I was going to suggest that we postpone till next meeting and have Mr. Chapman come and answer some of the questions that have been posed tonight. Why we don't want to hear from somebody that's in that department and answer some of these questions, I don't understand why we don't want to hear it. It makes sense to me that and I have read the stormwater regulations, and I agree with the commissioner that some of those things in there are a little hard to digest. And believe me, I'd probably spend a lot of time in jail if they came and saw me washing my car in my driveway. Guaranteed I would. Because I do it, and my wife does it. So I would like to have Mr. Chapman come and answer some of the questions that have been posed today. So I agree. I think we need to postpone it till next week and ask Mr. Chapman or whoever come and answer these questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Michaels, for the first time on the motion to postpone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sorry, Commissioner.
I kind of agree with Commissioner Akerd. Imagine that. There's no sense in passing this or waiting till next month. So you're going to wait for a whole more month, one more month, for them to come in here and smile at you and paint it like a real pretty picture. We don't need amendments to anything. Nothing. If he wants to keep the permit, I guess so be it, as is. But I don't know why that would deem any amendments necessary. And then on top of that, I just soon get rid of it too and go back to state requirements. Now, I know Commissioner Bowers, he works for Sevier County in environmental health, and they deal with stuff up there all the time. I got in their river one time and I had a cut on my leg and I was fishing. The next morning I woke up and my whole ankle was swelled up. Felt like somebody beat it with a stick. That's because I got so much pollution running into the river, the Little Pigeon River. Our river's not like that. But that's because we hadn't built a hotel 50 feet from the river. But that's coming too. If you ain't careful, that's coming to a highway near you. I've had a good time on this commission. I've had a good time representing people, And there's a lot of new commissioners sitting out there in the audience. And I ain't got a lot of fans up here around the courthouse. I ain't got a lot of friends, period. But every once in a while I'll see something that says, people who tell the truth don't have a lot of friends. And I guess that's why I don't have a lot of friends. When I was younger, my friends I'd ask them, I'd say, how come you don't invite me over to your house? And they'd say, well, we don't never know what you're going to say to our parents. And it's the same thing up here. It's the same thing up here. Don't tell Commissioner Michaels, because he won't be able to hold it in. Because I got a moral compass. I don't mean I'm perfect, but I got a moral compass, and I'm telling you right now, it don't take that much paper. And we'd already paid, when they come up here the first time with it, we'd paid the citizens of this county paid $90,000 for us to go, nope, because it literally said you couldn't wash your car on concrete and let it run out in the road. They're still bringing it, and they're still telling you, oh, there's going to be penalty, there's going to be penalty. So, I mean, it don't take a rocket scientist to figure out that what are we postponing? You think he's going to have anything different to say? We've already heard from the attorney. We've already heard from Valerie that works in in our development services office that works for TDEC. Let's vote on this amendment. Call for the question for the amendment.
All right, Commissioner Michaels calls for the question, moves the previous question. Is there a second to end debate on the motion to postpone? Second from Commissioner Hannah to end debate on the motion to postpone. Okay. We're now voting on the motion to end debate on the motion to postpone. Then we'll take a vote on it if it passes by a 2/3 vote. So if you're in favor of ending debate on the motion to postpone, vote yes. If you're not in favor of ending debate on the motion to postpone, vote no. Just a second, sir. He made a motion to end debate on the motion to postpone, which is the current pending motion, is whether we're going to postpone it or not. If you're in favor of ending debate, first of all, is there any objection to ending debate on the motion to postpone? All right, we'll just do that. We'll not vote on it. Without objection, debate is ended on the motion to postpone. We are now voting on the motion to postpone. If you're in favor of postponing, vote yes. If you're not in favor of postponing, vote no. Does anyone need clarification? We are now voting on the motion to postpone. If you want to postpone, vote yes. If you're against postponing, vote no. All commissioners, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 9 yes votes and 10 no votes.
9 yes votes, 10 no votes. The motion to postpone fails. We are back on the motion to adopt the resolution. Commissioner Akert for the second time on the motion to adopt the resolution.
Thank you, sir. Few more things came to mind as I listened to other folks. I think if Mr. Chapman had anything to share with us, Mr. Chapman would have been here tonight. And this was on the agenda. We heard about it a little bit last week. We heard a little bit of disagreement with it last week. I didn't get to be here to throw a bunch of disagreement toward it, but we have no business creating laws on the people of Blount County that infringe upon their property ownership rights because anybody told us to. And I would like to give our mayor an opportunity to speak on this matter and withhold what little time I have left for when he's done.
Mr. Mayor, do you wish to address this item?
Yes, I do. It's been said, and it's true. The state has these. The state has adopted this. This is in their adoption. Just like other laws we have in the state of Tennessee, like seatbelt laws, running a stop sign. We don't have a law in Blount County that says put your seatbelt on. We don't have a law that says you don't run a stop sign. Those are state laws, just like these laws from TDEC. They're laws that they've put in place, and we enforce them. And as a county, we do enforce those stormwater laws. Where I'm going with this is, I remember when this started with the city of Maryville. We passed these stormwater laws, and then we had to hire people to work stormwater in a stormwater department. And then it gets to the point where the square footage of your roof and how much stormwater is coming off your roof, you're charged by, you get charged per square footage. I mean, it never ends. It starts out, and it may sound good. Oh, we're trying to keep the rivers clean, and we're trying to keep the environment, and that's all good, and that's all well, and I agree with that. But this thing is about, it's a snowball sometimes about what your oversight and the amount of money we're going to end up spending if we develop a stormwater department and we start taxing people based on their square footage of their runoff that's going into our stormwater. I go back to what Commissioner Akers said. It controls the number of percentages of plants you have on your property. The one that gets me, and it hit us personally whenever we were when we were doing the pressure washing on the courthouse the last time, it had to be a totally encapsulated, even though they were using cleaning solutions that they had that were not supposed to be in any way hazardous to the environment to clean the courthouse. They had to set up booms and dikes and recover all the water that washed off of this courthouse, and had to process that water, clean the water, and before it could be released. But if you look in these requirements, that's what you have to do at your house. You pressure wash your house. If there's a runoff that's going to in any way affect the stormwater, then you're going to have a way of completely recovering that water. Going to the car. If you're washing your car and it's on concrete and it's running down into the stormwater and someone complains, then you can be held accountable for that runoff from washing your car. I mean, we're at the infancy of what we do as far as mandating stormwater and TDEC regulations. I understand, but if you pass more and more regulations, or you pass things like this, then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Then the next thing you know, we've got a whole department, stormwater, and we're laying a whole lot more on the backs of our citizens than they ever deserve. And I just don't think I think the state has this passed. We as an entity and an entity of the state, if we choose to enforce it, we can. But for us to take this to go any further than that, I just don't think it's doing the citizens justice, and I don't think it's the right thing to do for us.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commissioner Akers, you still have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe that puts it in perspective in a very big way. all of the things that we're told today, we were told a year ago. And there's been no penalty. If we were to get real serious about it, the thing to do would be to go and remove everything from it that deviates from state law at all and say, that's where we are. But that takes a lot more time and effort, and we've been living under the same version now for a few years. I can't put into words how important I think it is to stop big packets coming in front of us to pass and nobody read it enough to see things like no single species may comprise more than 1/3 of the total planted trees or shrubs. I mean, if you read it, you saw this. If you saw it and you ignored it, shame on you. I just urge you to vote no. Thank you.
Commissioner Bowers, you're recognized for the first time on the motion to adopt.
I know everybody's about tired of talking about this, but couple points. I agree with pretty much everything Steve said, Mike said, the mayor said. I do. I don't think I've ever supported one of these and voted for it. I think, though, and I may be wrong, this would have been a good question for Mr. Chapman. I think we're already operating under a NPDES permit currently and an MS4 permit. And what I was told when I looked into it for District 8 said it wouldn't affect anything in my area except a tiny sliver of Townsend, which is probably Townsend City. The resolution says urbanized area of Blount County. So that does take in a lot of other districts, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. I guess to summarize it, though, this next commission, we're going to kick this down the road and vote no. Next commission's still going to have to deal with it in some form or fashion. And it would just be my desire that when you do have to deal with it, then please deal with it, because I don't want to see our county getting fined $10,000 a day for 365 days. But, you know, so I guess what I'm saying is you got to compromise somewhere, but like Commissioner Akers said, if you read it, there's a lot of stuff in there that shouldn't be in there. They could really come on my property and police the ponds I have on my property if they wanted to. I don't think it really affects the rural area from what I read it. It's the urbanized area where there's a lot of concrete. But I will be voting no, but the next commission is still going to have to deal with this on down the road. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Michaels, for what purpose? I've already got you down speaking twice. Commissioners, ready for the question? Commissioner Wells, I've got you down for the second time on the motion to adopt.
Yeah, I don't want to be a smart aleck and just say that I don't have to speak for 15 minutes to tell you that I read it. And I've been through it multiple times. Don't appreciate the sentiment that just because that's the case. I'm not sitting here advocating that this is the end-all be-all, and if we go home tonight and don't pass this, then we got something majorly wrong. That's not the case either. You know, it's stormwater. We're all going to be okay tomorrow if we don't pass this, or if we do pass this. Either way, I'm going to sleep just fine. Ain't going to be a problem. So let's the jabs. that aren't necessary on a stormwater resolution, for heaven's sakes. So what we need to do is understand that there is an existing MS4 permit that's just referred to. It exists, and it's quite restrictive in its existing form. The things that you can and cannot do in the existing, the one that we have on the books today, is rather restrictive. It tells you you can't wash your car. It tells you the things you can't do that as far as you're talking about the stuff that's in there right now. If you go back and pull the existing and you look at what's been redlined out of it and removed from it and put into this amendment, it's an improved, less restrictive program. So if we want a less restrictive program, why would we not pass what's in front of us? I don't get it. It's completely the opposite of what you're saying. If you want less restriction, this one has less restriction than the existing. What our current permit has in it is worse. That's the reason I think we should do it. But again, I'll sleep fine either way.
For what purpose, Commissioner Michaels?
We don't have to have a permit, period. Call for the question.
Commissioner.
Call for the question.
I don't have any more lights. Is there any objection to ending debate and voting?
No.
Hearing none, we are ending debate. We are voting. If you're in favor of adopting resolution number 2606013, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, you have 9 yes and 10 no votes.
10 no, 9 yes, motion fails. Moving on to the next resolution, Mr. Clark.
Resolution number 2606014, a resolution of the Blount County Commission establishing compensation for members of the Blount County Commission.
I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2606014 from Commissioner French, second from Commissioner Bright. Any discussion? Commissioner Giles, you recognize for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner, Mr. Chairman. I apologize. No problem. As somebody said, it's been a long evening. I applaud this organization for taking the tax rate down from 159 to 129. In the end, that's hopefully will save most of our taxpayers' dollars, and that's what we do out here. To quote my fellow commissioner, Mr. Michaels, we've got to look after every penny we do for the taxpayers. And to quote you again, Commissioner Michaels, it blows my mind that we're looking at adding almost a 200% increase to our salaries. Now, I might be jumping ahead of the ball a little bit because I have a general election to go through, but it just blows my mind to do that. When I take a look at recent hikes, gasoline, diesel, property assessments have gone up, food has gone up. I get frustrated because I really have a hard time looking somebody in the face that lives in my district, and Commissioner Bennett's, and Commissioner Reagan's, and some of these folks are concerned about how they're going to pay their taxes and say, by the way, I'm going to support increasing our salary by almost 200%, taking it from $405 to about $1,145 a month. Now, don't misunderstand or misinterpret what I'm saying. I think I have a reputation of somebody who spends a lot of time and effort, responds to most questions, and spends a lot of time and energy to try to help and support and serve the people in my respective district. But I really struggle with looking them in the face and telling them that I can support this. So another area of concern for me is I've been amazed, and I don't understand why it is, that very little news about this. I've got very little feedback. I spoke to 3 people in my district, and both of them, or 2 out of the 3 had the same question. What? How much? And why? How did you get up with that number? And I was not able to answer it, but I said I think someone has spent a lot of time looking at that. The other question that I heard was, well, how come this wasn't in the newspaper? Have you all discussed this? I said, yes, we discussed it during the workshop meeting. I can't answer why it wasn't in the newspaper. Well, this is the first time I'm hearing of this. So again, my response was, I can't answer that and won't even attempt to answer that because I'm not the person that can do that. So I said all that to say this, is that a lot of people live in this county, a lot of people, and this is a very, very lucrative and a a county that really watches their dimes. We do have a lot of folks that make a lot of money, are very influential, very affluent, but we also have a lot of folks that don't make a whole lot of money. And I'm not saying that that's our fault, because it isn't. But the bottom line is, I just have a hard time saying we should increase our salary that much in that quick period of time. I don't have the answers, but I would be more than willing to sit as part of an ad hoc committee to say, what do we come up with? I suggested last time that maybe we tie this to some sort of performance or attendance. And I'm not suggesting that you show up just to show up to get your money. I think maybe some amount of money that we should get as county commissioners, and then every time you're part of an active committee or that you attend these meetings, that increases a little bit more. That's what I meant. And I said there's a plethora of opportunities and processes out there that can get our pay up where it needs to be, because at $405, that's not much. And I'm going to exaggerate a little bit. Sometimes I feel like I spend that much money in fuel in a month, and I don't, but it feels like that sometimes. So I will not be able to support this as it's written, simply because of not that as I said earlier, not that we don't deserve it, or the other commissioners don't deserve that, but it's the amount and my inability to be able to articulate how did we come up with that amount, and why now. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Wells, for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Real quick on this particular item, I can't support it either, particularly at the 200% increase, tripling the salary of the commission. I mean, although we look around the horseshoe, I mean, we all work hard. We all come into this. Some of you have been here longer than me, and been working in this arena. To do what we're all doing, to go out and be involved in our communities, not just come to meetings. I mean, obviously that's a given, and that we prepare for those, and we go out and we meet with people, but we also involved in the community itself. If you've got a town in your community, going to those meetings and doing all that, it's part of the enjoyment of the job, right? Meeting with people and being part of all that. We're all doing that, and the pay, I don't know what we could come up with that would say the numbers should be equating to someone's time or deserving of a certain number of pay. We heard a lot about that last time. I mean, what we do as commissioners, how we work hard, all those kind of things. And that's what we signed up to do. That's what what we get paid is what we also signed up for as well. And to go back and try to make retro, because that's what I feel like this is a 20-year deal, that maybe the rates stayed the same, and we're trying to go back and make up time for 20 years at what would be equivalent to just a little less than 6% raise every year for 20 years. That's what this equates to. So at its existing, I mean, just such a high increase, it's such a massive jump. That's my contention with the whole thing. It's not that if we had said that we're going to do a 50% increase, that would have been $600 a month, up from 405. Well, that's a reasonable, increase. That's not unreasonable. It's going to pay for a little extra gas for what might be it's a little bit extra for what that is. But it's not going to still compensate for people's time. It's not going to get any closer to doing that, but it is a bump to try to help a little bit. But we go from paying gas to paying for somebody's car. I mean, it's a unnecessary jump at 200%. It's just egregious to me that it would, and I'm surprised that we have folks who want to advocate for it that strongly at that rate of a change. I'm okay with a change. I'm okay that somebody said we're going to do a little bit more, but that rate of a change is amazing to me that anybody would be advocating for that. And the fact that we are going to take this money out of fund balance to fund it, it's not coming out of the budget. We're not putting it in the budget until next year when it comes back around automatically. It would have to be part of the budget process. We're going to take this money, $176,000, That's what this equates to, at the math, is $176,000 that we're going to fund this with. And, you know, we said no to a few things in the budget this past go-around that we didn't fund, you know, that were out there. I said this last week, but particulars now, I can tell you that, you know, that there was an investigator that we said no to that would have been $94,000 at the sheriff's office. We had two different proposals from be civil defense that would have totaled $13,000 we said no to. We said no to $41,000 expense for a position at the animal center. And then, folks, we said no to 911 that asked for $100,000. We said no to that. But we're wanting to fund $176,000 out of our fund balance to fund the raise. I'm just, at the end of the day, and it was kind of alluded to previously that we want to increase the pay so that we can get some more folks involved in this that might, you know, need some compensation. You know, I heard that, and I'm just going to say this, and sometimes things come out of my mouth I might ought to leave in there. But, you know, I don't know that many people up here that are living, you know, high on the hog. You know, and coming from, you know, our family is modest income, and I mean, I didn't get into this for the money. I knew what to come in here to help a little bit. It's great to get that little bit of assistance, but to jump it like this is just too much to me. And then to not fund things like 911 and other things, and then come right back and almost double that amount of money that we're going to want to take out of our coffers to pay for this. I just don't. I'm kind of like when my dog doesn't understand me and he's tilting his head sideways. That's how I feel about this request. I just quite don't understand how we think we can go from where we are and triple our monthly compensation. So unless somebody that sponsored this chooses to amend it to a reasonable amount, I just can't support it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Davis, recognized for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Thank you. So I'm going to explain a little bit about the same thing I did last week for those that wasn't in attendance last week. I work with county governments in 7 states. I work in almost every county in the state of Tennessee, and I work with their county commission. Whenever I go do bid acceptance for my job, I have a county commissioner in front of me, and I usually like to have conversation with them. And explaining exactly what their job duties are and their pay is a very common conversation. Most commissioners in the state of Tennessee, they get paid $250 to $350 per attendance. And when I mean per attendance, that would have been last week for the workshop. They would have got paid that for the attendance, whether it was $250, $350. Tonight would be $200 or $350. And say if you have 9 committees, like Mr. Ron French spoke that he had been on 9 committees, he would have got paid $250 or $350 for each 9 committees that he attended. Now, that puts a lot of commissioners in over this amount of pay. If you sit down and you think, those people that are able to attend meetings, whether you're independently wealthy or retired, you all have an advantage, but I'm the working class. So me being on education committee, it's very important because I'm the only commissioner that has a child in the Blount County schools here. I have to take off work. I have to clock out of work and take PTO to go to my son's school system to attend the education committee meetings. And I don't miss very many education committee meetings because it's very important to me for my son's education. Second of all, we all attend training hours in Nashville, sometimes twice a year. And when we go, we are reimbursed for our gas, but we're not reimbursed for the time that I'm taking PTO to leave here to go to Nashville to attend while I should be at work. So there's a lot more that goes into this, just like this stormwater that we just had this long discussion about for the, 8th time this year. The stormwater, if you would read the packet, you would have seen all the information that was in there. So if you do your job right and you don't have a handler and you're in here to study and work for the people, you're actually putting time in, and it's your time to be compensated for. This is a public service, and public service, just like the sheriff's department, fire department, it's not volunteer service. We're elected to these positions because the people decide who they want to represent them. And going from $400 to 200%, that's really not a lot in comparison. We are very low scale on the pay for the state of Tennessee. If you want to do this study and look that up, there's a TCA code. It usually goes by population. I can pull that out for us if we really need to. There's just a lot to be taken consideration. But another thing we need to talk about is the PAC money that could come into this. When you have PACs that, just like, which was a jab toward me during this last election, because my opponent was a realtor, and they were trying to make jabs at me, which, however, when real estate people or developers are donating money to people to have a seat at the table to make decisions to help them pad their pockets, that's an issue. So when I was in Memphis a couple months ago, one of the commissioners said, well, how much money have you raised for your campaign? And I exchanged and I said, how much money do you have to have for Shelby County? He said, you don't show up to pull a petition in Shelby County without having $150,000 in your campaign account before you pull your petition. So we're really headed that way. If you want to take a look at what is going on around us, so you need to study what is really happening. And it's not that I'm saying that anything other than, we're worth this. We are setting the tax rate. We're studying what's going on around us. If we do adopt the fact that we get paid per attendance, that's good. Because there's some people here that probably owe Blount County money for not attending. And I may be one of those people with my 86% attendance rate. So that's all I have to say for this. And I believe that every one of you all have deserved, you deserve a raise. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner King, you recognized for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Yeah. Why was this not brought to the budget before this? Why did it wait and come in this month to get on the commission? This way, we've never had this. Why didn't we put it in the budget if we wanted to raise? Why did we kind of try to backdoor this in? And if you're up here for the money, you're in here for the wrong reason to begin with, period, on it. But we're saying we're worried about taxpayers' money, but we're not worried about taking $176,000 for the next 4 years and putting in our pockets almost $800,000 and not worrying about the taxpayers. That's the bottom line of it, is that, we're all right to vote for ourselves to get the money, but the taxpayers are the ones that's got the burden. As Mr. Wells said, you had other committees that did not get a dime to ask for them that will benefit the cities, the taxpayers of the county, services on it. That's my opinion on it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Michaels for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm glad we're sharing opinions. I've sat up here 8 years, and I'm going to say this real quick. Everybody that runs for this, if you don't have a servant mentality, then you're in the wrong business. And there's some of you that I question that sometimes, but I've sat up here 8 years, and everything that has come down the pike for just about every department or every department elected official or department head, very few things have I been against or voted against to make their job easier, give them more people, more manpower. Very few times. Probably can count on one hand in 8 years. And I have a problem with anybody worrying about what the percentage is. I mean, this hasn't been done in 20 years. So it's going to be, you know, a pretty substantial increase. On top of that, I mean, you could probably do a 200% increase just over the last, what the economy's done in the last 4 years, last 2 years. You could probably do a 200% increase, and if you're going to look at all the numbers all the way across the board, cost of living and everything else, I mean, I guarantee you it's going to work out. What I do have a problem with, and this, I'm going to leave it right here. If we're willing to pay the best for every department we've got, the best computers, the best people, more people, an abundance of people. I've heard some people tonight say some things about some certain departments. I don't think any of those departments are lacking, and one reason that one got turned down is because there's $750,000 sitting in a bank account. And two, but here's my point. If we're not willing, with 150,000 people in this county, if we're not willing to pay 21 people the best money can do for right now to represent those people, what are we doing? I'm not going to be here, so I'm not going to benefit from this. So I could care less, really. But I really do think that it is justified, and it needs to be brought up to speed, because we are the top tier on everything in this county, and we need this and this, and the best scuba tanks, and the best horses, and the best horse trailer, and the best ambulance, and the best this, and the best that. We got to have it. But when it comes to representation, we don't care. Because up until this election, a lot of them were just, hey, we want you to run for this so we can have somebody sitting up there. But this time, you got some representation coming. You got some representation. They've been there and seen it and watched it, and they're done with it. And I think we need to pay them. And the reason you want to know why we're doing it now, I've been up here for 2 election cycles, and this happens every time. Every time. It gets brought this time, every time. This is let's see, the second time I've dealt with it, because it's the end of 2 terms that I've been on here. So there's not a question about why now. This has been happening ever since way before Ron's been on the commission. So and so anyway, it's time, you know, that we and I'm sure he's going to say, you know, ice cream was probably a nickel back when he started. It's gone up more than 200%. So It's time that we pay the representation in the representative body in this county the way we pay everybody else in this county. Top dollar. And I don't even know if that's top dollar. I'm just saying, give them a dadgum raise, and everybody wants to be particular about, well, this or that. I mean, you know, Sevier County, I think they paid $50 per every meeting, you know, and that was 4 or 5 years ago. So who knows? I don't think this is gross negligence or you know, I think that it's necessary. Let's just do for that legislative body like we do for the executive branch and like we do for the office holders. 25 years ago, I was a post-certified deputy. And I wanted to work here in Blount County because that's where I lived. That's where I was born and raised. But the biggest reason I wanted to work here is because you could look at the deputies and you could tell that they were taken care of. They had the best equipment. They had nice cars. Wasn't having to worry about. Now some of the older guys will tell you that it took a while to get there. But we take care of people that work in this county. And the people that sit up here, we make those decisions that make sure that they're taken care of and that they have the nicest and the best equipment to do their job and do it efficiently. And I think it's just necessary that we do the same for the people that sit up here.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner French for the first time on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to try to be brief. I said about all I needed to say at the Agenda Committee meeting. But, and I agree with everything Commissioner Michaels said tonight. Except the part about the dinosaurs. But and I feel I wasn't planning on speaking tonight because, like I said, I thought I said what I needed to say at the Agenda Committee meeting. However, I feel like I was challenged to speak since I was one of the sponsors of this resolution. Do you know what the average salary, and I know there are people in Blount County that are not in the best of shape, but do you know what the average salary in Blount County is? Can anybody? Last time I checked, it was about $47,000 a year. That's not a bad average for a year. And no, I'm not going to go there. But anyway, and I understand some of the commissioners think this is an exorbitant pay raise. But I've been involved with this commission for 28 years. You know how many pay raises there have been for this commission? 1. And guess what? They voted in 2008 to take a 10% cut in their pay, and that never has come back. But if you put $405 in the Google and have them and have it, I guess it's AI, figure out what that pay raise would be right now, what $400 would be, it would be between almost $11,000. And that's all they're asking for now, is $11,000. That's not in 200% over 28 years. And it's not a sudden urgency to do this. It should have been done every 4 years, like all the other elected officials in the county get a pay raise. And that's mandated by TCA. Yet commissioners spend a lot of time, if you do the job, haven't seen a pay raise. To me, that's not fair. That's not fair to the people of the county. You know, if you go to work for an organization, they're going to try to hire the best people they can. They want people up that will do the job, that will do their homework. And you expect the county commissioner to do that on a pay salary that's 28 years old? Folks, how many of you are working for the same salary you did 28 years ago? I'd say not one of you are working for the same salary you worked for 28 years ago. Yet you expect these elected officials up here to do that? I wouldn't expect that of anybody. I expect people, when they do their job, to get a pay raise. I've had people work for me when I owned my own business. Do you think I'd tell them, no, you're not going to get a raise this year? I couldn't do that. I wouldn't feel right. I'm kind of like Commissioner Wells here. I kind of turn my head sideways and look at me like a dog. Say, man, what kind of boss are you? So, I've said what I need to say. Oh, I spoke longer than I wanted to also. But these people up here deserve a raise, and that's all I'm going to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Seeing no further lights, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 26-06014, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, you have 12 yes votes and 6 no votes.
12 yes, 6 no. The motion, and 1 abstention. The motion carries. Resolution number 26-06014 is adopted.
Resolution number 26-06022, a resolution of the Blount County Commission providing for the regulation of data centers and cryptocurrency mining.
I have a motion to adopt resolution number 26-06022 from Commissioner Reagan, second from Commissioner Carver. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 26-06022, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, you have 19 yes votes.
19 yes, the motion carries, and resolution number 26-06022 is adopted.
Resolution number 26-06021, Property Assessor, request approval for a 3-year contract with TREPP Incorporated for commercial appraisals and appeals software. Referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee, 5-0.
I have a motion to adopt resolution number 26-06021 from Commissioner Reagan, second from Commissioner Bowers. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 26-06021, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, you have 19 yes votes.
19 yes, the motion carries, and resolution number 26-06021 is adopted.
Resolution number 26-06023, a resolution to authorize and appropriate funds for an actuarial study of the costs associated with granting a hazardous duty supplemental benefit to certain public safety officers pursuant to Tennessee Code Annotated Section 836212. Referred to full commission with a favorable recommendation by the Budget Committee, 5-0.
I have a motion to adopt resolution number 26-06023 from Commissioner Reagan, seconded from Commissioner French. Commissioner Davis, I have you recognized first.
Is this to decide if we're doing this, or was this a pay study, or what exactly is this?
Mr. Baldwin, will you weigh in on this one, please?
Yeah, Commissioner, this is a request from the TCRS group. In order for them to implement, or for you to consider implementation of any TCRS benefits, they require an audit be done with an actuarial study as a part of that. This is a part two, that they came out with 2 new benefits. You passed a resolution a couple of months ago for one of those parts. We made the wrong assumption that resolution would cover both of those. They asked us to come back and pass a second resolution that was specific to the other half of the benefit, or the other option for the benefit. So this is just to allow them to go ahead and do the study for both, so that then you can consider if you want to adopt one, none, or both.
Okay, thank you very much.
Anyone else wish to speak in discussion on this item? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 2606023, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, you have 19 yes votes.
19 yes, the motion carries, and resolution number 2606023 is adopted.
Resolution number 266-024, resolution to identify a cash shortage of $26,129.50.
I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2606024 from Commissioner French, second from Commissioner Reagan. Commissioner Akers, you recognize first on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're very lucky. I realize that $26,129.50 is coming out of our funds, but it could have been $272,051.28 that was taken. We're very fortunate. Being in business, it's not very often that you recover things like $245,921.78. So I applaud everyone involved in chasing and getting that money back, and I don't mind putting my mark on the yes, approving the $26,129.50 that we haven't yet received. I guess there's a chance that we could get that, but it seems unlikely. But again, I applaud the efforts that took place to get back the lion's share of that. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Giles, on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just like Commissioner Akers said, I applaud the effort to go into this to get all this returned, except for the $26,129.50. Where my question is, and I have not had an opportunity to look at this very closely, my apologies. Does this mean we will not be reimbursed this? Help me understand, what does this mean? If you'll have somebody explain that to me, a simpleton like
Mr.
myself.
Baldwin, if you could.
I'll do my best, Commissioner. We were a part of a fraud event.
Right.
That they were able to go into the self-service portal for a vendor and change the payment information. And you've all heard the amounts. We were able to work with the FBI, sheriff's office, the trustee, a number of people partnered with us. They funneled the money through multiple banks.
Mm-hmm.
The FBI helped track that down. They were able to hold at the final bank at Wells Fargo $245,000. The remaining $26,000 they had taken out with cashier's checks.
Okay.
Which is actually how it was one of the ways that they caught them, was they went in person to get the money with a cashier's check. So it was a ring out of Virginia. They were able to apprehend. They're prosecuting them now, but we don't have any real faith that we would get the remaining $26,000 back. But Wells Fargo did return to us the very last day in April the $245,000.
Okay, thank you. So, and again, let me apologize. I haven't had the time to take a closer look at this. So what does this resolution do? Just saying we recognize that we're going to be that this
Yeah,
amount short?
Anytime there's a cash shortage or loss, it requires the governing body to recognize that and approve it. What we will do on the back end, once you approve it, it'll be basically a balance sheet transaction where we'll recognize the loss this year. It was what our auditors asked of me today, was to try to get this to you all so that we could recognize it this year so it doesn't carry over into multiple years.
So, and I don't want to be contrary, but let's play devil's advocate. This resolution doesn't pass. Are there any consequences? What happens then?
Much more likely that we get an audit finding.
Pardon?
Much more likely that we get an audit finding.
Okay.
I can't guarantee we won't get one without this, but I can guarantee we will get one without this.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your answers.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Michaels recognized on the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I'd like to ask Mr. Baldwin, this seems like maybe half to maybe probably closer to a third of what, instead of losing it again, and with all this computer hackers and the money that we deal with here, Mr. Chairman, would this not be better spent maybe if we had an in-house auditor that would help the finance director keep up with these things? And so that might be something to think about before next year. Instead of this being a deficit, we don't know who ended up using it for beer money. It's about maybe half to a third of what we could pay somebody to help them keep up with it. An auditor, in-house auditor, wouldn't make a difference.
They didn't intercept it on they intercepted it on one of our vendors. They didn't hack us, they hacked the vendor, and we had sent the vendor a payment, and the payment went to the vendor. Before it got to the vendor, they had hacked it and got the money out that way. So none of that came from, it didn't come from us being hacked, it came from our vendor being hacked.
But I mean, it's a good possibility whether it was us or a vendor. I mean, with the way the world's going, would it be wise to have somebody that, I mean, like I said, this might be half to a third of what we'd have to pay somebody to.
Well, I'm like you, Commissioner. I don't know a lot about all this hacking and all that. I do know that but in talking with our IT people, that we're saving quite a bit of money right now with some cyber. Justin is on the cutting edge on cybersecurity. It's not the way to protect yourself from hackers is not to hire an auditor. It's the AI stuff. It's all of that we have that Justin has implemented into some of our protection that keeps us that's working to keep us from having this happen to us. He works on that, and we talk about this probably every 2 or 3 weeks on anything we need to do to update on our cybersecurity. It goes a whole lot. It's a whole lot bigger than my head will wrap itself around on
Probably
what we
mine
have to
too,
do.
yeah.
And but we are on the cutting edge of making sure that doesn't happen. But there again, this happened on the vendor. And it's a vendor that's well known in this county, and it's a huge vendor.
Yeah.
You would think they would have had mechanisms in place, but it hit them, and we were just the victim of it because it hit them.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of hard to fight that AI or whatever. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anyone else in discussion on this item? Seeing none, if you're in favor of adopting resolution number 2606024, vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no.
Mr. Chairman, you have 19 yes votes.
19 yes votes. The motion carries, and resolution number 2606024 is adopted. Moving on to item H, announcements and statements. Blount County government offices will be open on Friday, June 19th. The E911 Board will meet Tuesday, June 23rd at 4 p.m. at the Blount County Communications Center. The Blount 250 Committee for Tuesday, June 23rd is canceled. Their next meeting will be Tuesday, June 30th at 5 p.m. at the Blount County Courthouse in Commission Meeting Room 430. The Planning Commission will meet Thursday, June 25th at 5:30 p.m. at the Blount County Courthouse in Commission Meeting Room 430. This is an important one. Due to the 4th of July holiday, the agenda items deadline for drafted resolutions will be noon on Wednesday, July 1st, so that's a day early. The Board of Zoning Appeals will meet Thursday, July 2nd at 6 p.m. at the Blount County Courthouse in Commission Meeting Room 430. Blount County government offices will be closed on Friday, July 3rd. The Public Service Committee will meet Tuesday, July 7th at 11 a.m. at the Blount County Operations Center. The Blount 250 Committee will meet Tuesday, July 7th at 5 p.m. at the Blount County Courthouse in Commission Meeting Room 430. The Veterans Affairs Committee will meet Wednesday, July 8th at 4:30 p.m. at the Blount County Courthouse in Meeting Room 315. The Budget Committee will meet Thursday, July 9th at 5 p.m., followed by a workshop committee meeting at 6 p.m. at the Blount County Courthouse in Commission Meeting Room 430. Please note the following meeting dates for August. Tuesday, August 4th at noon will be the deadline for drafted resolutions, so that's moving to a Tuesday. Tuesday, August 11th at 5 p.m., Budget Committee and 6 p.m. workshop, so that's moving to a Tuesday. Tuesday, August 18th at 6 p.m. will be the commission meeting. You guessed it, it'll be moving to a Tuesday. That is all the chair's announcements. Do any commissioners have announcements or statements? All right, we'll move on to item I, public input on items not on the agenda. Does anyone wish to speak to items not on the agenda from the public? If so, please raise your hand at this time. Yes, ma'am. And speakers, remember this is items not on the agenda, so if it was on the agenda, that was at the beginning of the meeting.
Jessica Self, again, District 6. I know everybody's tired and hungry. I've spoken about this before, but I've seen a lot of angst and a lot of back and forth that really I struggle to understand why that is when you are supposed to just represent your constituents. When your people have made themselves clear, it seems like there's a lot of back and forth with the people that you're representing. You're supposed to represent the people whose hands touch the ballot, not whose hands shake yours. And that's what I'm really struggling with to see. And I think one reason why you guys are not having that communication with your constituents is that it is extremely difficult to see what's on the agenda. If you go on the website, it is a wild goose chase. I had it on my laptop one day and I turned off my laptop and I thought, oh my gosh, now I have to go find it again. It is extremely hard to find, and yet you guys were willing to table a whole issue because a gentleman who was on the agenda, that is his department, he didn't show up today, knowing that it was being spoken about, and you guys were willing to table that, and yet the general public has no idea about the agenda until the last minute, if that. Why is that? We have asked each one of you to represent us, and we don't get to know what's on the agenda. And then when we come up and we speak, it's like we haven't even spoken. And I'm just struggling with that. Like, why be up here as a representative if you're not going to represent? So I'm asking for you to talk to your constituents, and that way you're out of it. If things don't go the way that you wanted them to go, you listen to your constituents. It's not on you. It was never meant to be on you. You're just supposed to be their voice because you can't have hundreds of voices speaking. So they've chosen you to be their voice, not for you to be your own voice. So I'm asking that you listen to your constituents. I'm asking that the website clearly state what is on the agenda so that we, the public, can see what's on the agenda so we can come and have our voice known. And that's all. Don't be willing to table someone who is supposed to be here for his department and yet be okay with us not having any idea. It's unacceptable. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak to items not on the agenda? Okay, seeing no further hands, Chair will stand for a motion to adjourn. That objection